good morning to all the students who have joined us. Thank you for making time on a Sunday morning. This is going to be a very fun interaction. Rahul had joined us in 2018 when we did Evolve, which was open to Ahmedabad and Gandhinagar Endeavorians. And it was a fun filled ride to listen to his journey. So we thought today let us do this for all our Endeavor students. So Remarkable Careers is a series that we are starting off with Rahul Narvekar, and the idea is to bring success stories to you to motivate you. You could directly interact with these industry stalwarts and clarify whatever doubts or questions you may have. So, to start off, Rahul is a serial entrepreneur. He's a speaker, a mentor, and an investor. He's also an alumnus of Mumbai University, IIM Kolkata, and ESSEC Business School in Paris. So before all of this happened, he will share a very beautiful journey graph of how he reached here. But whatever I know of Rahul, he started off his career as a door-to-door salesman because he had to support his own education. From there, he went to an entrepreneur school where he was kicked out for asking questions, for being a troublemaker, which he is. But he was expelled because of that. And to today, where he's the director and CEO of Sun and Sand Advisors, which is a Japan-based firm. He's the founder and CEO of the India Network, and he's the founder director of Scale Ventures Fund as well. So this journey has been really inspirational. And Rahul, once again, thank you so much for joining us. I just want to kind of break the ice between you and the students by asking you one question: that if you had to divide your life so far into, say, 4 chapters, how would you divide it, and what would you name those chapters?
So yeah, 4 nahi, 4.7 lagega because I'm 47.
Okay. Grace.
So if I look at it decade-wise, 10 years, I would say first 10 years was formative. Okay, I'm a 7-month premature baby, so immunity का लोचा था बचपन में, ठीक है. But first 10 years were all golden period, बोल लो whatever, because till I think I was 10, we were like the richest family in the slum that we were in. Okay. And we had the second black and white television in the entire area. Yeah. So the first 10 years was mostly us being the community, Sarvajanik home for everybody in the Chawl. We test match ho, chitrahar ho, movie ho, people would all come to our house and ghar bhara rehta tha. Yeah. Okay. And everybody was nice to me because we owned the TV wala ghar, right? Yeah. And there was money in the house, so my birthdays used to be celebrated with a big thing and all of that. Phase 2, 10 to 20, was, I would say, learning, because suddenly from being the richest family in the slum, we became the poorest family. Because my dad's factory where he used to work shut down and it never opened again. So suddenly, wo life ne jhatka liya, U-turn liya, theek hai, it all came crashing down. So that is a period where I sort of went within more than outside, because a couple of things. One is I had a fight with all the kids in my chawl for some stupid reason, and उन्होंने मेरा बहिष्कार कर दिया. So मैं school से आता था, nobody would talk to me. So nothing to do, so started the habit of reading. Okay, that was one. 2 is I realized I had to support myself, so started doing odd jobs. So you said door to door. My first formal job was I was a ward boy in a hospital in a place called Mulund. Dhanvantri Hospital. Okay, and luckily it was a Gujarati-owned hospital, so I could speak Gujarati at that point. Understand to kar leta, abhi bolna nahi aata. So I was the ward boy in the night shift, who used to do jhadu pocha and clean the toilet, everything and all that. But usse pehle I had done 10 to 20. I had done all kinds of odd jobs. I sold watermelons on the street. I have washed cars. सब कुछ किया है, सारे पापड़ बेले. And now it sounds a little, yeah, उस time it was all fun. In fact, recently I had gone to an event in Ahmednagar, and on the way back I was passing the area where I used to wash cars, and I turned to my colleague and I told her, I said, it's so funny. Okay, I remember at one point I was walking from this point and I had washed a lot of stuff and I had made 2 rupees. Yeah. But I can still feel that 2 rupee ka note, red color ka. ऐसे हाथ में पकड़ के I was walking back home and I was so kicked, 2 रुपया कमाया, ठीक है. वो feeling, even when when I told her I was sitting in this luxury S-class Mercedes शॉपर ड्रिवन व्हाटएवर नॉनसेंस, ठीक है। वो मजा उस मर्सिडीज में भी नहीं आया जो वो 2 रुपए कमा के आया था, ठीक है। सो दैट फेज वाज फन, वी वर ऑल हसलिंग कि भैया लाइफ का ये होता था कि अगर 2 रुपया मिल गया तो यार मिसल पाव खा सकते हैं, भजिया खा सकते हैं, ये खा सकते हैं, वो खा सकते हैं, ठीक है। एंड आई गेस आई वाज अ लिटिल प्रिविलेज्ड आल्सो इन दैट सेंस कि उस टाइम पे खर्चा करने के ज्यादा ऑप्शंस थे नहीं इंडिया में। कोई बरिस्ता नहीं था, कोई सीसीडी नहीं था, तो वर्स्ट केस मतलब बेस्ट केस वाज राम भरोसे हिंदू होटल में जाके मिसल पाव खाना है, ठीक है। शक्ल सूरत ऐसी थी कि कोई गर्लफ्रेंड तो थी नहीं, तो उसका भी कोई खर्चा नहीं था, कोई टेंशन भी नहीं था, ठीक है, कोई स्ट्रेस नहीं था। बट age 10 to 20, which is phase 2, was a lot of dreaming because I had picked up a lot of reading. I used to read almost 7 to 8 hours a day, obsessively. Okay, and my virtual world was south of France, New York, Paris, Gucci, Prada, private jet, blonde babe. Real life में ऐसा कुछ नहीं था, ठीक है। Real life में चल फड़का मार, चल ये कर, but वो it was all dreaming, and phase 3 would be from age 20 to 30, which was very formative. So age 20 to 30 is where I think I shifted my orbit. So from getting into an entrepreneurship course to getting kicked out, doing the first school job, which was with Ronnie Screwval and Teleshopping Network, to creating my first startup in 94, then creating the second one, which was Channel Oxygen. And honestly, now when I look back, I laugh at myself कि हमने कैसे ये सोच भी लिया कि हम 6 बच्चे मिलके अपना चैनल खोल सकते हैं उस एरा में, you know. Luckily, I think 2 things, lessons from that era. One, of course, I never had a good youth circle of friends at that point. But more than that, I never had people who said, you can't do this. So because I did not know that I'm not supposed to do this, I ended up doing it. Okay. Then, of course, that channel, that's the first time we saw a lot of money. Like में flights में बैठने लग गए, गाड़ियां आ गई, पैसा आ गया, 5-star होटल में जाके ओपन सैंडविच पहली बार लाइफ में खाया, ठीक है। And that is what created a lot of challenges, so that we as a team split up because we became successful. So till the time we were struggling, we were the best of friends. And जब पैसा और fame आया, तो we used to fight कि अच्छा तेरा नाम पेपर में क्यों छपा, मेरा नाम क्यों नहीं आया, and all that nonsense. That's when I also met Pallavi Rao, who conned me into moving to Delhi, and that is where phase 4, so 2000 to 2010, is Delhi, where I was working as an employee. I started from scratch with a company called Ansals on 25,000 rupees salary, to doing a crazy deal, getting promoted to vice president. I got into a completely different environment. So Delhi was like I still can't describe. I didn't understand Delhi for the first 2 years.
Yeah,
it was a completely new place.
Vada Pav.
So I created my own Vada Pav club. We used to fly in the pav from Bombay, make bhaji, vada, keema, eat it and bitch about Delhi. तो क्लब अभी भी मतलब बहुत टाइम से मीटिंग हुई नहीं, अब होना चाहिए. But then there was these 2 parallel tracks in the phase 4, which is one was professional, which is working for various companies, also doing stuff on the side. So it was not a full-fledged venture, but I was doing a lot of freelancing stuff, making very good money. So that was there. And then parallelly, where Pallavi became an RJ, she was very famous. Then she got myasthenia, surgery, radiation, chemotherapy, another round of. And then the last phase of this, which is 2009, I became an entrepreneur again with fashionandyou.com. ठीक है, and that is the अभी ये phase 5 जिसको बोल रहे हैं, you're saying phase 4. Phase 5 is okay. Again, 2 parallel tracks. एक Apollo Hospital, Medanta, Tata Memorial and all that. And the second is, of course, exiting Fashion and You, then setting up Indian Roots with NDTV, exiting that in 2016, then setting up Scale Ventures, Sun and Sands, India Network, now Startup Studio. Also, 3 years back, one of my dreams, which was to getting into Harvard Business School. So finally making it to Harvard at the OPM program. And I think the last 2013 se rather, it's been a different world for me because everything till 2016, honestly, Aditi, all my goals were material goals. You know, ये life चाहिए जो मैंने book में पढ़ा है, novel में पढ़ा है, वो life मेरे को चाहिए. You know, I want to wear the brand, live the life, travel first class, stay in a suite in a 5-star hotel, speak at big events. वो more or less 2016 तक सब हो गया. ठीक है, so from speaking in the United Nations General Assembly to everywhere, वो सब कर लिया. Travel जहाँ मतलब world class करना था वो कर लिया. And 2016 is when I had that sort of a reboot wala phase, which is up Rahul 2.0 version kya hona chahiye. Okay. And that is also a seminal turning point year for me because I went for a walk to Everest Base Camp. Okay. And EBC was tough because I have a medical condition called sleep apnea. So when I was doing Fashion India in 2009-10, I used to sleep for 1.5 hours a day. I was nuts. And now I tell everybody, don't mess with your sleep ever. Minimum 6 to 8 hours sleep, it is a superpower. Okay. But us time I was an idiot, so I didn't do that. So now I have to plug in a machine and put on a mask to sleep at night. So with that medical condition, all the doctors I spoke to told me you will definitely die if you go to EBC. And I had a huge fight with Pallavi Rao. I still went because of a friend called Dilshad Master Kumar. It's awesome. And I worked with two people, Vishal Gondal, who's a serial entrepreneur, and a person called Amit Singhal, who was retiring from Google at that time. And those 14 days of walking and doing EBC and creating a sort of a record, whatever, I sort of changed. So usse pehle I was sab kuch jaldi chahiye, abhi chahiye, everything is yesterday basis, hyper. So I sort of aram se enjoy the journey. Jo karna hai, masti mein karna hai. There is no destination. This journey will continue. So ab main us phase mein hu.
Right. Yeah, now you are extremely calm and you are just interacting with all of us sitting at a resort in Goa. So yeah, we figured the change out. But without taking much of your time, I think I'll hand over the mic virtually to Vivek sir now. And the two of you can interact, and then I'll pitch in again when we want the students to interact with you.
Perfect.
Right. So it's a very interesting story, Rahul, and the whole idea, that you have, you put it in very crisply, and you have not shared a lot of struggle of your journey. But when I was going through your Evolve video, I saw that you have taken so many fresh entrepreneurial steps. Maybe, every decade you have done at least 2 entrepreneurial projects or taken up something. Some of them didn't go your way and you had to wind up because of partners or some other reason, or maybe the things were not in your side. And sometimes maybe you were, fortunate also and you got the right click. But, nobody actually, knows the effort and the pain which goes in this process, right? And as we all know through your last speech, that perseverance is key to the success. But, how do you, persevere through these tough, long phases when, with your illness now that is brought to light to us, we were not aware. Your wife's illness, which somewhere did affect your career graph, plus all these, unexpected, because, when you are running after a dream, you are passionate and driving, and suddenly, bottlenecks come in, which push you back. So how do you decide, till when you're going to go ahead with this journey, and at what point of time you say that, the situation is not conducive or the macros are not favoring me, so, I have to change the course. Would you guide the students, because they also are starting their career and they would be going into this topsy-turvy, career graph, supported with some personal, graph as well?
So Vivek, I'll tell you what my learning is that, and I've been blessed. I genuinely believe I'm Ganpati's blessed child because I've had an interesting life. Okay. And I have done 2 startups in what is called the old economy and a few of them in the new economy. What has changed fundamentally in terms of a career, whether it's a job or doing your own venture or anything, is earlier there was a certain timeline, there was a pace. It used to take you 5, 7, 10 years to build a business or to screw a business. Okay. Or even in a job, it used to take you, you couldn't say, Achha, I'll walk in and 3 months I'll jump, 1 year minimum aapko nikalna hai, 15% increment wala. It was that phase. Now, if you look at it this era, everything, the timeline is sort of crunched. Okay. Everything happens very fast. So the mantra of this economy is speed and scale. Okay. Because we are all connected. So earlier, जब हम घर से एक बार बाहर निकल जाते थे, तो जब तक आप वापस नहीं आओगे, nobody can connect to you. But today, because of a cell phone, you are always on. You are always connected. You can't disconnect. Also, access to data was you have to go pick up a book and read. Now, the supercomputer that you hold in your hand, which is a mobile phone, gives you access to too much data. Okay. The challenge of all this is also that we are all very confused. Okay. So today, if you speak to most of the people, like I've been in isolation or whatever, I'm here in this fancy, we get bored. And if you look at it logically, you'll say, Netflix hai, Prime hai, itne options hai. So bore kaise ho rahe ho? Because of one thing which is called fatigue. So fatigue also sets in very fast today with anything or everything. Okay. So when you say that anything is tough, definition of tough is very subjective. Okay. So when I did my first venture, which was in 1994, I had come from a 10 by 10 square feet ghar. That was home for me. Okay. I had spent 3 months where I was getting only 1 meal a day. Okay. So, and that was normal for me. It was normal for me. So, if I do not, the choice was, I take a job and I get an X amount of salary versus I do my own thing and I will not get a fixed amount of money per month, which I was as it is used to. Okay. And if I look at any stage, so today the challenge is when you are so-called successful, when you're used to sitting in an AC room, traveling business class, and getting access to certain things. The tough part is to take that choice of saying, okay, I will not be able to live this life for some time. Okay. And for students, when you're looking at jobs, the tough thing is, I tell every student is, don't go for a big brand name job in a large corporate because you'll not learn anything. Okay. Give that up. It's a choice. Give it up. Go work for a small company where you'll get to do multiple things. But for a lot of kids, the challenge there is, if I say I got placed at McKinsey or Infosys or TechM or any of the big names, then it sort of gives you a social validation. Everybody says, Aditi's got a great placement. Your parents are proud of you. Social media pe dalne ke liye acha milta hai. Versus you say, I'm doing this small thing. That is the tough thing. Okay. If I look at my journey, the reason I have been reasonably successful is also because I said yes to a lot of opportunities without caring what anybody else will think about me. Okay. And yes, in a certain way it is tough. So for me, if I have to define tough is when I did Fashion and You, before that I was a big daddy at a company called DLF. I had a 5-member team. I used to sit in a cabin. I used to dictate my emails. Okay. For me, the thing was, and when I would walk to any event or anything, I was Rahul DLF, Rahul sir DLF se aaye. So I had a lot of izzat. But when I started Fashion and You, Vivek, I had to go to a brand's office. I used to call up people who I knew very well. I thought they were my friends and say I want to put an appointment. And on average, I had to sit in the reception for 5.5 hours. They would call me at 12 for a 12 o'clock appointment and say, wait karo. And I'm watching them in their glass cabin. They're just sitting and doing chilling. And initially, it was a little humiliating to take because everybody's watching. You just sit there and wait 5.5 hours. And then walk in, and before you can open your mouth and open your laptop, you'll say, kya 5 seconds nahi yaar, chal cut le. So that was tough. I remember a particular incident. I had gone to this mall called Emporio, which is a luxury mall, who I used to earlier go as a DLF senior person. And I had to pick up samples from a store of a luxury brand. And the store assistant, okay, she said, sir, wait karo, I'm busy. And I went and sat in the cafe opposite. I saw her the whole day. She made me wait for 2 days. So the first day I was sitting waiting. When the store closed, she came and said, sir, aap kal aana. I said, okay. And what she had done, she had called up all the other store girls of all the other stores and said, ye Rahul sir aaye, aaj na inko main wait karaungi. I don't know why she did it. What she get, I have no clue. And my colleague who was sitting with me was fuming. What is this nonsense? It felt, I will admit, it didn't feel so great. Next day I came, I sat there the whole day. Evening, she said, "Achha, ye lo sample ja." So this is tough part. Physically tough, kuch hota nahi hai, boss. Honestly, okay. For a lot of people, taking that in the eyes of other people. But honestly, my learning, Vivek, is a lot of the people we think, ye mere baare mein kya sochenge, they don't matter in your life. Okay. So my mantra to most kids is 2 words: be besharam. The day you stop giving an F about what anybody else thinks about you, you will become successful at whatever you do. Because you'll start doing more and more stuff.
Right. This brings me to a very interesting question here. So you said that you have, you be besharam and say yes to everything, most of the things which comes to you, which, So, but, when somebody, takes this route, there is a very thin line between bravado and foolishness. So, how do you distinguish, that, because sometimes, one may get carried away and take a foolish decision also. So how does one approach this as a student? Because they also have so many thoughts and ideas coming into it, and they want to say yes and say yes to few things, and then maybe make mistakes. And they're very early, they have still maybe another 20 years to learn before they get their whole modus right. So how do you differentiate between the two, and how should we approach?
So experience comes from bad experiences.
Right.
Unless you have a few bad experiences, you will not get experience. Okay. So the reason I say that the more you do, the more you sort of learn. So if you look at what is experience, who do you call an experienced person? An experienced person will look at a lot of data and immediately say, "Nahi, aise hoga." But where do you get that power from? You get that power from having done that many, many times over a period of time.
Right.
Okay. So whether it's anything in life, person who can immediately look at it and you have done it multiple times. So the more you do, and the more you sort of fail at doing something, the better you get at not making that same mistake going forward.
Right.
So the only trick here is you have to, like, my favorite thing is people don't fail. Failure is an event, it's not a person. So Vivek is not a failure. Aditi is not a failure. Vivek will fail at something. But unfortunately, as a culture, we sort of label people.
Right.
Okay. But the day I stop caring about what anybody says about me, and I sort of zone out all these labels, I will do more and more of certain things. I will get better at it.
Right.
Also, in today's economy, especially, all our old metrics, especially our education system, the structure is still designed for the old economy. It's not designed for the new economy. Okay. Unfortunately, what happens once you're in a 3-year program, 4-year program, and you have to do this journey. Okay. So you look at engineering today. Most engineering people who get picked up by good companies, they pick up the talent and then they start training them again, because whatever they have learned in engineering is not relevant anymore.
Absolutely.
Okay. But the best people are people who can do cross stuff.
Right.
Okay. And all of that. So if you look at sports, Dhoni was a tennis player. He was very interested in football and he was a goalkeeper.
Right.
Because he had done goalkeeping for so long in football, he became a very good wicket keeper, right?
Absolutely.
So there you need a mentor who can spot you and say, this skill, if you can take it here. So in today's world, the ability to connect dots is the best ability. You look at most successful people, they are not specialists in anything. Okay. They're generalists, but they're able to bring in a bunch of specialists and get them to work towards a certain goal. Like I've done fashion e-commerce, I am not a fashion expert. I don't understand, I don't know tech. Okay. So my co-founder Anish is the techie. मेरे को यार हिंदी भाषा में समझा दे इसका क्या है, इसको बेचने का काम मैं कर दूंगा. Although I know Excel and all that, I don't love looking at Excel sheets. Okay. But what is my ability? My ability is to find the best people who are specialists, put them together as a team, get them to work with each other, and then keep telling them, you can do this.
Very interesting. So just to add here, the top B schools, mostly in India, they don't give specialization. Specifically the IIMs, they want it to be a general management course over than a marketing and finance. It's the students who try to make marketing as a specialization or finance as a specialization. Right. So in the run-up to this question, you mentioned that it's the people around you are very, very important, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, so there must be and maybe in initial your 20s you didn't have the right people around you, and it happens with all of us, so one who have played pivotal role in your life, or your mentors, and when you can go back. And how do students, go and identify, this filter? How does this work? Because is this also, mistakes? You make the mistakes and learn, or there can be few things, as per your personality, one can be slightly more aware of, and maybe some self-awareness, with, what they are looking, a combination of something can work for them.
So I'll give you a story. Albert Einstein, as a child, when he was in school, his school teacher called his mother and said, your son is slow. Manda buddhi aapka beta. Okay, he's not able to cope up with the education system. And she gave her a written letter saying, he should be either taken to a school for special children or, whatever. And Albert Einstein knew that his mother's been called to school. So when his mother came home, okay, what did the teacher say? What does that letter say? And his mother said, your teacher said that you're a genius. You are way above all these other students. The reason you have a challenge is the school is too slow for you. Okay. And later Albert Einstein became a huge scientist. And then once his mother had passed away, he found that letter in her possessions. And he opened it and he read it. And he was zapped. It was the exact opposite of what his mother had told him. Now imagine if his mother would have told him at that point that this is what your teacher has to say. You are mandabuddhi, you're dumb, you're slow. Probably he would have taken it to heart and become that person.
Absolutely.
Okay. The point I'm making here, Vivek, is that we become the sum total of the 5, 7, 10 people we spend maximum time with. So if you're surrounded with people who keep putting you down, saying, tumse nahi ho payega, tum to ye ho, you believe it. The fun fact, Vivek, is our brain cannot process between real and imaginary. It cannot. Okay. I'll give you another example. Till 1954, the considered wisdom in the world was no human being can run 4 miles under 1 minute. In fact, there were papers, scientific papers, which said that if anybody ever manages to run that fast, the body will explode. It cannot take that speed.
Wow.
And then a guy called Roger Bannister broke that record. He ran 4 miles under 1 minute. The fun fact, the moment he broke that record and it became news, hundreds of people were able to run 4 miles under 1 minute. So what changed? What changed is their belief system. That ye kar paya to phir main bhi kar sakta. The same way, when most students, if they're surrounded by people, and in today's world physically as well as virtually. So if your social media, if the kind of series you see on Netflix or Prime, whatever you absorb, these are all energies. If all of that is putting you as you can't do this, you will not be able to do it.
Right.
But if you are ruthless, and you have to be ruthless here. So you might assume that the guy who's sitting on the bench next to you in school is your best friend because itne saal se saath baithe and he's been always bullying you or putting you down. If you don't have the ruthlessness to cut these people out of your life. So on social media, my thing is filter, unfriend, block.
Right.
So I'm very ruthless in the kind of media that I consume. Okay. And for anybody in life, Vivek, apart from belief, the key thing is habits. Habits is what make you successful versus unsuccessful. So if you look at the cricketing world again, if you look at Vinod Kambli and Sachin Tendulkar, any cricketing expert will tell you that Vinod Kambli is more talented than Sachin Tendulkar. But Sachin Tendulkar had better habits. He was more disciplined. Which is why he's the legend and Vinod Kambli could have been a legend. So belief systems is surrounding yourself with the right people, following them, absorbing their things. And second is if you have the right habits. So one key habit that I have is when I wake up in the morning, I don't reach for my phone for the first 1 hour.
Right.
And when I go to sleep, before 1 hour, I switch off my phone. I don't take digital distraction. And the first thing I do when I switch on my phone is when I'm shaving or whatever, that 30, 45 minutes, I only listen to YouTube videos of people I follow in life. So I've set my day for positivity. And before I sleep at night, I do something called journaling. Okay, so you actually take a physical pen and paper and you write down just things you have had in the day. And if there is a particular problem that you're grappling with, if there is a dilemma that you have, write it down and then go to sleep. And in most cases, when you wake up, you'll get some sort of an answer. So build all these right habits and have the right belief systems and surround yourself with great people. That's it. There's nothing rocket science about this.
So any affirmations also? Because a lot has been talked about affirmations, so any affirmations or powerful thoughts from some of these books you keep going back to on a regular basis, or
So I don't read some affirmation and then repeat them, because what I have also, and I've done this in the past, if you do it mindlessly, it doesn't work.
Absolutely.
वो जैसे मंत्र उच्चार हम करते रहते, we don't even know what is being said, we don't know the meaning of it, but we think इसको 108 बार बोलेंगे तो कुछ हो जाएगा. Words are very powerful. Voice is very powerful if you understand and you imbibe it. So in my case, because I'm constantly only watching videos or reading, and reading is a superpower. Okay, when you watch a video, it limits your imagination because it is showing you. But when you read, you imagine and you visualize.
Correct.
Okay. And Vivek, in today's world, especially for students, you have to understand two technologies, machine learning and artificial intelligence, have completely transformed the world. Unfortunately, our education system rewards people who have a good memory. So if I have a good memory, I can रट्टो मारो कुछ पट्टा मार के मैं उसको अगर पेपर पे लिख देता तो मैं टॉपर हूँ. Doesn't mean that I have understood that concept. But today a machine learning algorithm can do that in seconds. Okay. What is more important is people who can imagine, who can visualize, who can connect dots. These are the skills for which you will get rewarded in today's world and especially so in the future. So they need to, and how do you develop these skills? Reading, traveling, interacting with interesting people. Okay. By doing things which, connecting dots which are not so connected. Okay. That is the value creation. So ultimately, most people, why do we go to a college or a education institute is to get some skill which will make it economically rewarding for us. कोई बहुत कम लोग सीखने के लिए जाते हैं, पैसा कमाने के लिए कुछ डिग्री चाहिए उसके लिए जाते हैं. फ्यूचर में where is it that you're going to make money? If you have these skills, is where you'll make money.
Right. So any two books you will recommend to our students? Two books, your favorite books you would like them to read?
So, it completely differs. I would say don't read books that you think, don't do it. It should be the other way around. Start reading what you love reading.
Right.
Okay. So I read everything from fiction to whatever. Okay. I still can't read poetry. I want to get there at some point. But start by reading even Chetan Bhagat. Okay. A lot of people I know put him down, but if he's sold billions of copies, he's connecting to a certain audience. Absolutely. You don't need to read Shakespeare. I can't read Shakespeare. I love his stories, but I connect. I'm more of a sacred games than a money heist kind of a person. मेरे को देसी चीजें ज़्यादा समझ में आती है, ठीक है? So read that. If you like reading in Hindi or Gujarati or Marathi, read that. First, make it a habit that it becomes automatic to you. Okay. Then, of course, depending on the sector. So I would say for entrepreneurship, there is The Hard Things of Hard Things is by Ben Horowitz. 0 to 1 by Peter Thiel. Okay. Lots of books. So my favorites are people like Simon Sinek. Start with Why. Leaders Eat Last. His whole series. Malcolm Gladwell. So today morning I was, and it's an old thing I keep revisiting. He's written this brilliant couple of books. One is a book called Outliers, which is, he's done a complete scientific study on people who succeed at a world-class level. And he has this rule called a 10,000 hour rule, which means you need to practice any craft for minimum 10,000 hours to be a world-class person in that.
Correct.
Okay. And my role models, Malcolm Gladwell gets paid about $1 million for one keynote speech.
Wow.
Okay. So that's my ambition in life. I get paid only 7 lakhs, which is about $100,000. Okay. So and then because it's original thought. Okay. Now you look at a Malcolm Gladwell today, honestly. What did he do? He went and looked at all the old books and data and he said, let me study it. Okay. And he gives it his interpretation. Or you look at a Noah Harari. Okay. Or you look at all these other guys. What are they? They're looking at the same thing that everybody else is looking, but they're giving it a little different perspective. If you have that, if you develop that as a skill, you'll get rewarded massively.
Right. Now, taking this whole leap on your this whole entrepreneur journey. So you have seen the entrepreneurship, and now we talk about startups. So how does one differentiate between entrepreneurship and startups primarily? And many of the students will also at some point of time, and a lot of our students in past have also ventured into entrepreneurship. But half the time they are confused. So how do they know that this is the idea they have to jump in? or they have to work really more on fundamentals before jumping in. Though you have already pointed that scale is something, is very important in today's world. If you're not taking up scale, it might not work.
So Vivek, I'll tell you, these are all labels. Okay. These are all labels that we see. This is entrepreneurship, this is startup. Okay. If I come to Ahmedabad, okay, and if you take me to the soda wala chain, the guy who makes all these different kinds of soda, that's also entrepreneur. It's also a startup, right? Basically, what is a startup? You do something which scales very fast. Is called as a startup versus a regular business. Okay, that's the. In fact, it took Government of India also a long time to define startup. There is no definition as such. Okay. In startups, the key thing you have to understand is you don't need a great breakout, very different idea. Most of such things will definitely fail. You just have to look at an existing problem, find a solution for it, and find somebody who's willing to pay you for that solution. Okay. That is what is a startup. So the execution is more important than the concept. So if you look at Flipkart or Amazon, it's not a great idea. Everybody knows what they do, right? There is no secret sauce to what e-commerce is. But somebody succeeds and somebody doesn't succeed. Okay. Because of the way they execute it, and that's a daily thing. So unless you really enjoy it, you cannot keep doing it on a daily basis. So like you're asking me, I get this question, sir, kaun sa startup mein aap funding dal rahe ho? So if you're doing funding AI startups, I'll do AI. But if you don't love AI, you will never be able to do it on a daily basis. Okay. And most of these things seem very glamorous from the outside. So entrepreneurship startups is not me doing this kind of sessions or going and speaking on a stage. That's one part of it. It's daily ka grunt work. It's like, I tell them, it's like opening a Udupi hotel. The idlis have to be fresh every single day. Okay? So while you can see the front end, back end में kitchen में जाके you have to ensure कि dough आता है, labor आज भाग नहीं गया है, वो मसाले ठीक से पड़ रहे हैं. If there is a challenge, how do I solve it? It's like getting your hands dirty.
Right.
Okay. And if I don't enjoy cooking, I can never run an Udupi hotel. The flip side of it is, if I don't enjoy cooking, I only know a certain thing. I find somebody who's good at that.
Right.
Okay, that's one. Two is, you will never know what is your passion till you actually do it. Okay? So as a kid, I wanted to be a pilot. Okay? A lot of the people in my network that wanted to be an air hostess, thinking it's a glamorous job. A lot of them became air hostesses and then gave it up because they said, yaar, ye to bahut hi thaka hua kaam hai. Because you think the life, if I get into this, is going to be like this. And then when you get into it, you realize, boss, it's not what it seemed to be. So for a lot of people, I get it, what is my passion? Unless you do more things, you will not know whether you really love it or you don't love it. So the trick is very simple. Keep doing more things, but get out of your comfort zone.
So one thing I'll take out from this is that, your heart has to be in place. If you are getting into any startup, because, you get an idea and you start working on a lot of ideas, and, you jump into it for the sake of, doing something different or entrepreneurship or, leaving the corporate race. But more importantly is whether that idea, your heart is in place and you can do it daily and ensure that you can keep improving at it.
So I'll give you a hack for this today. I'll give you a hack. So if you're a student at this stage and you want to know what, maybe some direction of what to do is, for a few hours, switch off your phone, sit down with a pen and paper, and just jot down instances in your past where you have truly felt alive. यार मजा आ गया उस टाइम पे. I did not realize क्या टाइम था, मुझे पता ही नहीं चला 4 घंटे कैसे चले गए. You felt truly alive. Just start jotting down those events, and then talk to a couple of people in your network who you genuinely feel have your well-wisher. They're your well-wisher, genuine well-wisher, and ask them. You know me from so long. When do you think I was like truly alive? मेरे को बहुत मजा आ रहा था कि nothing else mattered. Take that list. Look at the 2 and see the common points. That's one. 2 is, what is it that does not seem like work to you, that you are happy to do for free? Like my wife was a radio person. She would pay to do radio. Okay. Once you have that, okay, then all you need to do is figure out an economic model for that. And the best part about today's world is you can get paid to do anything if you can connect the two dots. Simplest example, Vivek. My era, if you wanted to be a singer, you wanted to make money by singing, what do you need? Good voice. That is the given logic. Have you heard of a phenomenon called Dhinchak Puja?
Absolutely.
Does she have a good voice? She's making a lot of money, right? She's so bad that she's good. So in today's world, you can be absolutely horrible at something, but if you can figure out an economic model for it, okay, there are people who are doing TikTok videos and making a lot of money. Now again, you need to also figure out whether this will last for a long time. Okay. And you need to keep reinventing yourself because the world is changing so fast. So for a lot of sports people, after they retire, what next? So some of them have made that switch by getting into commentating or doing public speaking. Okay. So I'm saying our time, it was a long-term period. Now everything is changing very, very fast.
Right.
Okay. You look at COVID today. Now this is a situation, I can be super talented at cooking and I have opened a very sexy cafe. It was doing very well for 1 year. Now what do? A lot of people are reinventing there also. So let me give an example. There was this very famous pizza restaurant in New York. They were very famous for their takeaways. And they had this very fancy oven which could do pizzas very fast. And when COVID happened and nobody's buying pizza, what do? They realized, so what is the common logic? We need to figure out a way to deliver, but nobody was asking for deliveries also. They realized they had this huge oven which could do stuff at a very high temperature. And they realized that a certain kind of a mask which needed to be made for Corona could be made in that oven.
Wow.
So they flipped their business model from being a pizza chain. They started making that mask in that oven and selling it. And now if you talk to them, they say maybe after the whole Corona situation is over, we can do either become only a mask company or go back to doing pizza, or we'll have two different companies. One making mask and one making pizzas. So my favorite thing is, Vivek, you cannot change what happens to you. You can only change your reaction to it. So if you're surrounded by the right people, if you're consuming the right media, if you're in the right frame of mind, a crisis is a brilliant opportunity to build your brand.
So here, you referred to COVID, so how do you see businesses changing? This would be my last question before I hand over to, Aditi for students. So how do you see, the world after COVID, and, how do you see consumer behavior happening after COVID? And for that matter, even education, what are we going through a substantial change in the way we operate in personal and professional lives and workspaces and corporates? Even government will change drastically post-COVID. What would be your thoughts, on that?
So I would say that situation is still evolving as we speak. Okay. See, what Corona does as medically is it does not kill you by itself. It enters your body. It confuses your immunity. Okay. So if you have other underlying problems, it amplifies that and you die because of that. The same thing is happening to businesses. So businesses which have strong immunity are actually thriving in this period. Okay. So you look at a Zoom. Zoom was already there, but Zoom's valuation has now gone up because people are using more Zoom, right? Or delivery or content. Look at Netflix and all these players. They're all thriving. Their valuations have gone up tremendously. They're doing better. But businesses whose immunity was low are dying. Okay. We already knew that education needs to reinvent itself. Okay. Which is why a Byju's is a $12 billion company versus any other old education institute. We knew that, but most people were in denial. Now, because of COVID, this has got amplified. Okay. Where parents earlier were saying, okay, online is, ye bhi hai, but mostly it is offline. Have now suddenly looked at flipping ke nahi yaar, iska bhi ek situation hai. A lot of companies which needed their employees, which had stupid rules. 9 baje office aana hi hai, tum 2 ghante commute karke aao, mujhe farak nahi padta. ठीक है, and इतने घंटे तुमको ऑफिस में बैठना ही है. Now they're saying, why do we need to do that? This works better, right? Zoom works better. So it is now fundamentally amplified and speeded up a process that is already happening. Okay. And post this, couple of things nobody knows. So one is that most people will still not want to do the old things. But in the shopping space, there's a new term called revenge shopping. So when China opened after COVID, there's a brand called Hermes, which had $2.8 million ka sale in one day.
Wow.
And we are seeing it in the European countries where people are rushing to cafes and other places. But for how long, we don't know. Okay. So the world has fundamentally today, I saw the land 22 days in one room. Okay. Before that, my wife used to say I used to travel 35 days in a month. Hello? Vivek, you there? Are we still on?
I'm there, Rahul.
Yeah, okay. So basically, if you had told me earlier that I would be able to stay for so long in one room and not step, I did not step out of that property for 72 days.
Right.
But I was okay with it. So people who can adapt, okay, it is not the fittest who will survive, it is the fastest who will survive and thrive.
Right.
So again, for this economy, the simple thing is you need to be fast, speed, you need to scale, and you need to adapt very fast because things will keep changing very, very fast.
Right. That's a valuable advice. Thanks, Rahul, for talking, sharing your inputs. Aditi, please, continue for the next set of questions.
Yes, thank you so much, Vivek sir. This was indeed a very candid and a very interesting discussion. So yes, we have Harsh who has switched on his video. So Harsh, you go first with your question. Rahul, his question is on decision making. So yes, over to you, Harsh. All right, I've unmuted you.
Hello, sir. Am I audible to you?
Yes, Harsh, I can hear you.
Sir, I have a problem with decision making. I want to ask you, how do you take decisions, especially when it comes to taking one thing and leaving another? Because for me, I cannot even take decisions on what to study, like 15-minute quants, 15 minutes verbal, and 3 hours break. And in break, also many different things. So, anything on decision making?
So, first thing, Harsh, is change the script in your own head. Stop saying to yourself that I can't take decisions. Who's told you can't take decisions? Change it. So what is decision making, boss? What is there a pattern which says you have to take decisions in this way? It's probably a few people around you who have told you, Harsh, tera na decision making galat. Tera decision. Ab tere dimag mein wo aa gaya. There is no formula ke aise lege to decision theek hota hai. There is no right and wrong decision. You take a decision and then you make it right or wrong. Okay? So there are people who can study quants for 3 hours and still suck at it. And there are people who can study quants for 5 minutes and still rock at it. Barabar? So sabse pehle to change the script in your head, not for this, for everything. Again, sit with a pen and paper and write down the most common words that you use. And ask a few people around you, what are the common things that I say a lot? And wherever it is, I can't, you have to consciously flip the script. Secondly, no decision by itself is right or wrong. So suppose you think you don't enjoy doing quants. How does it matter? Who's told you that you need to be a rock star at quants? I used to suck at maths. Okay, but I used to suck at maths because very early in life I had this chashma in school. And that time I couldn't afford to buy a specs. So I didn't tell anybody at home that mereko blackboard dikhta nahi hai clearly. So I could never understand what the teacher is writing. So I had to learn on my own and whatever mein pass ho jata tha. And then I kept telling myself, I'm bad at maths. Okay. And I went to IIM. Okay. And there we had accounting and ye. And I could never look at an exercise. I used to get confused. So I hacked it. Luckily, we had 2-member teams. I found a guy whose superpower was numbers. I said, ye number crunching tu kar de, mujhe samjha de. I'm good at presentation. I will present. We both did that and we topped. I'm a topper in accounts. Okay. There are certain areas you enjoy. There are certain areas you don't enjoy, which you can say is your weak point or whatever. Never focus on your weaknesses. Always focus on your strengths. But find somebody whose strength is your weakness and become a team. ठीक है? Especially when it comes to studies, boss, understand one thing. All the old methods are gone. Okay. Today, if you want to understand quants or whatever, you can go to a Khan Academy. Okay. Most of it is free. It is just the delivery mechanism maybe makes it interesting for you or doesn't make it interesting for you. So there are enough teachers in the virtual world who can make quants so interesting that you will love to listen to them. Okay. So there is a boring way of saying things and there is an interesting way of saying things. थोड़ा सा तेरे को homework और research ये करना पड़ेगा. You have to go and find the right teachers who will make it interesting for you. Yeah. And I'm again repeating, there are no right and wrong decisions. You take a decision and then you make it right or wrong. And even if it is a wrong decision, it doesn't work out harsh, it still helps you. Okay. So I'll give you one example. Steve Jobs, he was asked, if you've seen his movie, he was asked a very famous question. Steve Wozniak asked him, boss, I made the Apple computer. I'm the engineer. Mike Maracula is the one who's selling them. This guy is doing this. We all do things. What do you do? So Steve Jobs said, all of you guys are playing an instrument. I play the orchestra. So if you've seen a conductor, वो क्या करता है? वो सिर्फ डंडी घुमा रहा है, right? But he knows इसको बोलना है, अब तू गाना गा, तू चुप रहे, ये वो. These are the skill sets which work. Steve Jobs again, he was fired from his own company. He was fired from Apple, right? For a few decisions that he took. And the board told him these are all wrong decisions. He was devastated. He left Apple and he he invested in a company called Pixar. If you know Pixar, entertainment, right? Then he created a company called Next, which was hardware, which was a failure technically in terms of numbers. But then he was called back by Apple. But because of his learnings at Pixar and Next Computers, he was able to reinvent Apple from moving to computers to get into iPhone, iPod, iPad, which are all the blockbusters, right? So the decisions he took in the past, which were considered wrong, were the decisions which turned out to be right. So it's all contextual and in a certain timeline. So don't obsess so much about decision सही है गलत है. एक decision लेने का, उसको सही करने का. अगर वो नहीं work out हो, उससे कुछ सीखने का, next decision लेने का.
Perfect. And I think just adding on to what Rahul said, Harsh, you have landed at the right place. So I think half of your issue is already solved. Just reach out to the right mentors at Endeavor, and I'm sure they'll help you with whatever decision-making troubles that you are facing. Because I'm sure the mentors are there even to guide you personally, not only professionally. So there you go. Thank you. Thank you. So the next question is from Maharshi. Maharshi, if you can on your video, it is on the debate that usually goes on, whether to go for a startup or to gain some work experience first. Maharshi, I have asked you to unmute, so you can go on.
Sir, my question is, generally after completing studies, there is a dilemma whether to go directly go for a startup or take some experience and then go for startup. So which should be the better path? If I have a particular idea then and don't have an experience, so should I directly work on that or go for an experience and then go for that particular startup?
Let me ask you this, Maharshi. How much experience do you think you need before you do a startup?
Maybe 2-3 years.
किसने बोला है?
Generally, I have heard from.
Have you heard of a boy called Ritesh Agarwal?
Yes. Oh.
How many years of experience do you think he had before he did OYO?
No experience.
देख भाई ऐसा है ना, बहुत simple है. It depends on how ready you are. If you have already thought through your thing, okay, and if you are willing, what is experience? Experience doesn't come from good things. Experience comes when bad things happen to you. बराबर? तो अगर तू startup day one करेगा, you'll have more bad experiences every single day.
Yes.
That is a better experience than going and working for somebody else. Because when you work for somebody else, you are not responsible for the whole thing. You are only responsible for what is your KRA. But when you do a startup, you are responsible for everything. That is always a better experience. So start.
Awesome.
Thanks.
Okay, Ellen, you go next. The question is about passion. So, are you here, Ellen?
Yeah, I unmuted her.
Yes, ma'am.
Hmm.
Okay, so I'll go forward.
Yeah, please.
Okay, so good afternoon, sir. So my question was basically, how do we know what our passion is? Like, okay, today my passion might be to like go for a debate. Tomorrow my passion might be to like go for writing. Like, as a student, we are so confused as to how to go forth with anything to begin with. So how do we know what is our passion? Given that after, okay, if I take up law today and like I go to a law school and 5 years of my life I spend in a law school and then I decide I don't want to do law, what am I going to do then? And the rest of my life, am I going to like keep cribbing and crying about like, oh, I took up law, so now I have to go forth with being a lawyer for the rest of my life. So do I live in the dilemma that, oh, okay, this is what I've done, so now I'm stuck here for the rest of my life? Or do I like opt for different things if I get an option?
I love this question. So first and foremost, passion is overrated. Okay. Just because you're passionate, will you succeed at something? I very much doubt it. Okay. I was talking earlier about Vinod Kambli and Sachin Tendulkar. Okay. If you look at most people, okay, discipline, right habits, and consistently doing things are what make you successful. Okay. How do you discover your passion? Only when you've been doing it for some time will you realize whether it is something you really want to do. So when I say you're passionate about something, it means repeatedly every single day for the rest of your life, you're okay to do it without anybody giving you anything in return for it. That is like if it's dancing or whatever, right? When it say if you got into law school and you discover that you are not loving it, okay, what tells you can't drop out? It's just that your parents will say, "Arey bloody, you got into it," or your peers will say. It's that fear of what other people will think about you, right? But you look at most people, if you're okay with the idea of just dropping out and doing anything else. And I know many people who have studied law and have gone and done something completely unrelated. Okay. So don't get obsessed that just because you started something, you need to finish it even if you don't enjoy it. The day you discover it is not working for you, move on. But don't do it for the wrong reasons. Okay. Understand, anything you do, even if you're passionate about it, there are certain parts of a profession that you love, certain parts you don't love. Like when I do my startup, okay, as a CEO, founder, I have to do everything from accounting to financing to certain parts I love. I absolutely hate where I have to sit with my CFO and do the number crunching. But unless I do that, this will not survive. Okay. A lot of times it's the script in your head, like what Harsh was saying, that I am bad at this, I don't enjoy it. If you're able to successfully switch it and say, I'm enjoying it, I'm loving it. So earlier I had this phobia of numbers. But then I realized that this is a diagnostic. The Excel sheet tells me the health of my business. It is what allows me to do certain things which I would not otherwise do. The moment I change my perspective on it, I started enjoying looking at that Excel sheet or the balance sheet. Okay. So anything and everything you do, like if you say law, even if you tomorrow become a dancer or an actor, you need to know a bit of law, right? Because you have to do contracts with Netflix. You have to do contracts with your producers. So legal is there. Finance is in everything. So whatever profession you take, there are certain parts you will enjoy, certain parts you think or you tell yourself you don't enjoy. You just have to change your perspective on it. Like when you are sick now in Corona, okay, you hate that medication. But you know if you don't take it, you'll die. You'll love it, right?
Yes, sir.
So change the script in your head.
Awesome.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you for asking that question. Okay, Manav, you go next. Manav Trivedi. His question is on the importance of having a degree. Can't a person just work on his skills and then pitch himself? That why is he the best at something, he or she? Yes, Manav.
Hello, sir. Good morning, sir. Am I audible?
Yeah.
Yes, you are.
Yeah.
I love your headphones, man. What brand is this?
Sir, it's actually Sony.
Nice. I love the color.
Thank you, sir. So you were speaking about skill set. So, sir, my question is, so why is it so necessary to have a degree these days? Like, why can't a person work on his skill set and pitch himself or herself in an organization that why is the best, and why do we have to follow this herd mentality? Like I think there is somebody has written a rule book. Okay, पहले degree लो, अच्छी organization में जाओ, you get a great job, then your life is successful. Why can't we directly just work on our skill set with a basic education, and then we can do all such stuff?
So, Manav, it's an excellent question. Now, couple of things. One is there is no rule book that anybody needs to follow for anything in life.
Okay.
But then why do we have rules? Because if everybody starts acting like a maverick, it will be a very chaotic world. Okay, that's one. Two, these degree programs were designed for a different economy. Okay. But again, as I said, there is no, you can just get out of school and start doing your business. That's okay. But also understand that if you want to lift a 120-pound thing, then you have to build a muscle for it. Okay. Now, if you get into any program, there is one way to look at it is you say, yaar, ye kya bakwas sikha rahe mere ko? And you're just impatient in your cribbing. The other way to look at it is now you have got a safety cushion for 3 years. 3 years, tere pe koi pressure nahi hai to go and do anything else. So while you need to hack, you have to keep passing whatever course you are enrolled in. You also have a lot of time available. Okay.
Correct.
So if you are passionate about a certain skill, this is the time for you to upskill. Okay. This is the time to invest in building a network. Okay. This is the time to build your circle of friends. This is also the time to reflect on what is it that, like the lady earlier was asking, what is passion? You can try out, the college gives you a great opportunity to do stuff. You can do dramatics, you can do sports, to discover what is your passion. Okay. Also, the biggest thing, understand, till school, you are in a sort of a protected environment.
Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah. When you go into college, you meet a lot of other people from. So the whole point of college was to expose you to the world without you having to, sort of get into it. Okay. So college, you get to meet people. Somebody will bully you. Somebody you'll connect with. You'll meet different people. Okay. And you build your skill sets there. Okay. So again, I said, you need to change your reaction to this. You can drop out today and do it. But honestly, I'm saying if you don't need to drop out, don't drop out.
Okay.
Also, what does a college degree do? So when you heard Aditi introducing me, if she tells me Rahul Narvekar, Sardani Pratap Singh Janata Vidyalaya, you will form an opinion about me. If she says Rahul Narvekar, alumnus of Harvard Business School, you will suddenly change the switch and say, ah. So what a degree does is two things. A, of course, it sorts of labels, he puts a stamp on you, but also it opens up, like, Abhi, I'm here. If I travel somewhere and I see this band on somebody, oh, OPM, Harvard, suddenly we connect. The alumni networks of most good campuses is a brilliant network. Okay. So use it.
Okay, so thank you.
Perfect. Thank you for asking, Manav. We take one last question, Rahul, if you allow.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, so Jai, I would request you to come in and ask your question. Jai Shah. हेलो, लगता है हमारा जय के साथ संपर्क टूट गया
Okay, I'm going to say the last thing, guys. What I see mostly when I interact with students and a lot of them, that unfortunately for a lot of you, the term networking has become a very abused term. Okay, we say we want to do networking, but all we want is something from the other person. Okay, so either you connect me to somebody, get me a job, give me funding, do this for me. It's all me. The time that you are in, build a network where it's about giving. Okay, in today's world, we are all connected. Everybody in the world is 1 degree of separation, right? But the flip side is, like, if I look at myself, earlier before Corona, I used to wake up to an average of 470 messages a day. Now that has gone past 700. Okay. So on Insta, Facebook, WhatsApp, I get flooded by people trying to reach out. And most of them want something from me, which is fine. There are only few people who are able to cut through all that clutter and get through to me. Okay. These are people who have built a relationship with me without making it transactional. Okay. So this lady here, Aditi, I cannot say no to her because I know her through my wife, but I know hundreds and thousands of people through my wife. But every time I've come to Ahmedabad, we have connected on a non-transactional basis. So today when she needs me to come and do this session, she will pick up the phone or send me a message, you are doing this. And I will do it. That is a superpower. But to build a network like that takes time. So while you are in college, while you are in whatever, doing whatever, today on LinkedIn, Facebook, Insta, you can reach out to anybody in the world. Okay, if you can't send them a friend request, you can follow them and they will also see your stuff. But just invest some time and effort in building that right profile. Today, your CV is not the CV you send. Your CV is your social media timeline. So any organization, if I have to hire somebody, my team will go and check their entire social media timeline for some time. So while you're in college, it sounds very cool to post some stupid stuff. It's okay. But be aware that sometime a future employer might see it. That's one. Two, when you connect with anybody, please respect the fact that most people have a time constraint. I hate people who send me hi, hello messages. You know why? Because imagine a situation where I've got up, I'm stressed, yaar Aditi ka seminar karna, I have to do these 20 things, ye karna hai, wo karna hai. I get a message from, say, Harsh, who I don't know. I have to accept, and Harsh says hello. Then out of so much things, I'll say hello. Then Harsh will say, how are you, sir? Yaar, point pe aana. So respect the fact that if you are reaching out to somebody with a specific ask, make it very clear, sir, this is Harsh from Endeavor. I need your help for this. If I can, I will immediately either forward it to somebody or do something, or I'll say Harsh nahi ho sakta. But I will remember Harsh ke haan yaar isne meri time ki izzat rakhi hai. That's one. Two is, please be a little conscious of the kind of names you use on social media. So if I get a request from Psycho Pratik, and this is a real person, by the way, and I had a debate with this guy. He's a brilliant guy. He knows his social media very well. I said, why do you have a name like Psycho Pratik? He's like, it's cool. It might sound cool in college, but if you're applying for a job or if you're applying for funding, nobody wants to fund a Psycho Pratik, guys. Okay. Or Licious Lips, whatever. Yeah. Just be aware of this, because it sounds very cool to create this, but just think this through. Okay. And the last thing I'll say here is, again, you are at a phase where you have some time in your hand before you get into the real world. So use this time to build your network. Okay. Without irritating the samnala person or making it too transactional or whatever. If you use this time wisely to do things for other people, believe me, it will come back to you.
Awesome. Okay, I'm kind of ending this with a little kuch hota hai feels. So I'll tell you one word, and you have to tell me a word that comes to your mind. Okay? So dream. Nahin. Dream.
Big.
Delhi.
Sorry?
Delhi.
BV.
Mumbai.
Jan.
Endeavor.
Professional.
Startup.
Every day.
Students.
Future.
Remarkable career.
Misused word.
All right. I think that's it from my side. Vivek sir, you want to kind of give a concluding remark to this session?
I'd just like to thank Rahul. It was wonderfully talking to you, and a lot of great insights. Very difficult to put it in one page or bullets, but if we start putting it in bullets itself, I think we've got at least 15, 20, very strong points to take home. Really, thank you a lot, on behalf of the Endeavor team and family, to join us on Sunday morning to motivate these students.
As I said, I get bullied by Aditi. I have no option.
You are telling this live. It's getting recorded. It could be misused. Yeah. Thank you so much. But yeah, thank you so much, Vivek sir, for asking those wonderful questions and making this a very, very interesting session. And thank you, Rahul. Parishan karti rahungi.
See you guys. Bye.
Thank you, students, for joining in. And we'll stay connected with more such sessions. This was the first one in our Remarkable Career series, and we hope to do more. Thank you for joining us. Have a nice Sunday.